Hey guys, a couple weeks ago I did a short video, that's a 60-second video on this one. We called it the Nazi Captain Crunch uniform. Now, we kind of made it into a joke. In fact, I said I was going to wear it to my son's wedding, and a couple people said they didn't think that was a good idea. They don't get my humor. But then later, we found a name in the pocket, Admiral Alfred Solvector. And we thought, well, maybe we should take another look at this. Come check it out. Okay, we're going to dissect this uniform a little bit. Those of you who like and subscribe to my channel, you already know I'm a gun collector, so this is not my area of expertise. Others of you are just coming new into this, and we're going to learn a little bit together. Although people who really collect these uniforms will find a lot of things that I say and do wrong. You're welcome to comment as long as it's respectful and helpful. And actually, the reason I'm doing this follow-up is when I did the 60-second and I kind of made it into a joke, I got a good number of people in Germany and elsewhere who said, you know what, you might have something really special here. So I do think it's a museum piece minus the hat. This is a museum piece, so I'm just going to do a cursory look, but it's not something I ever would keep or collect. I'm going to pass it on to somebody else, and I'm going to encourage the next person that owns this to really dig into it a little bit deeper to see if we can confirm that it belonged to the Admiral that we're about to talk about. So first dissection is this. I've been told by many sources, did not come with this uniform. However, we did get this from a family. The collector had passed away. I got no information other than this is something he collected, and it was given to me to sell on consignment. I was not expecting it to be something special or something that we could actually track down the original owner. So going back to this bicorner, or bicorn hat, two, as opposed to the tricorner, like in colonial days. This you see fairly often, especially with naval people, where they wear it like this. I turned it like this so you could see it a little bit better. People wrote in and said the rank is wrong. It does have the Nazi eagle on it. And if I look inside, it's like brand new. There's no sweat on this. This was never issued. This uniform was worn a bit. This was never issued. So while it looks kind of cool, we're going to set that aside. We're selling that separately. It is a rare find. It is original, and it is worth a pretty sum of money, but I don't believe it was ever issued. The other thing that I found is the hat is very small. I could barely fit it on my head. And Admiral Solvector, you'll see pictures of, well, here's a picture of him here. There's some on Wikipedia, not a lot, but he was a larger man, and I don't think he could have worn that hat. Let's move along. This would be great for my son's wedding, but this is not part of it either. Maybe put there just to spice it up a little bit. And I assume the shirt, again, I could wear that to the next wedding, but that was not part of it. So basically, we're only looking at the jacket. So here's the feedback I got from people who do know uniforms. And again, my caveat is I don't know these uniforms. I hate to make claims that are not true. So everything is couched in I'm not sure. One thing that I noticed was these are two different colors. Like this looks a little different than this. But what I found was he was a vice admiral in 1935. Solvector was a vice admiral in 1935 and was promoted to admiral in 1937. I don't know. Maybe this is not what they did, but this could have been added later. And it's the same on both sides. There's also a star here. That is original, I'm told, but I don't know what it stands for, so if you want to comment about that. Over here, this eagle, I'm told, is correct, and it is very nicely sewn into the jacket. These buttons with the anchors, those are correct and original. This is a Nazi eagle in gold. It's actually a very a metal that's very distinguished. And I have been told by somebody who collects these that this is original, probably worth about $5,000. The pins on them are very wide, so it's not something you want to stick into the uniform because it would leave a hole there. But instead, there are reinforced tabs here. The reinforced tabs that slides right into. There you go. You can see that slides right into it. to protect the jacket. There's no holes, but there's reinforced tabs there. When we go to this side, this is what needs a lot of study, because whoever the person was, and in fact, when we said it was the Nazi Captain Crunch, somebody said, this guy was an admiral. There weren't that many of them. Somebody guessed how many admirals there were. So they said, I think you could narrow it down and find out who it is, especially if you know these battle ribbons. And I can't interpret these battle ribbons, but when we go through the battles that we know Admiral Salvector was in, some of these are included here. And so this could be authentic. And again, it's a reinforced tab that it goes into. You don't put a hole in the jacket. So those are the battle ribbons. Here we will see that he was awarded an Iron Cross for his service in World War I. They said he was definitely in the U-boat service. I'm going to talk about he was commander of 3 U-boats. So he would have received this medal. And once again, those are reinforced tabs, not holes into the jacket. And this one, several people said he would not have been awarded this one, but that makes no sense to me because he's also a commander of the Northern Fleet, and particularly what they call E-boats, what we call torpedo boats. So I don't know why he wouldn't have been given that medal, but a couple people commented that he would not have been given that medal. So that one is extraneous to the overall jacket. So here's the part that is almost funny, kind of unique. I told you I got this quite by accident. The collector passed away, had no information. The family had no information. They just found this in a closet and said, here, you sell militaria, why don't you sell it? And so I'm thinking, oh, okay. I did the video. We all looked at it. It's actually been in our office for about a month. And I did reach down and look in the pockets. This pocket, didn't find anything. This pocket, didn't find anything. So then a uniform collector said, well, sometimes look inside the pocket, you'll see it's the name here. We looked inside the pocket, didn't see the name. So we said, we have no name, we have no idea who it belonged to. Maybe somebody else will figure it out. Then, I think it was, oh yeah, it was our newest employee, only been there about a week, and he pulled this down like this, and it's upside down, but it actually has Admiral Salvector's name upside down right here. And it also says March 5th, 1935. Now, I have been warned that people fake these. People fake everything on here. The medals are real. And so this may mean absolutely nothing. We didn't find it at first. We even listed it on the website, didn't have this information. So it wasn't something that we were trying to trick anybody. We found it. It may or may not be real. I am going out of my way to be cautious that whoever buys this should make up their own mind about the jacket. We make no claims other than this was a very interesting find. Now, what is more important to me, because I'm a student of history. I love history. I certainly don't love the Nazis, and I don't necessarily need to own their uniforms, and I like their guns, but I don't need to own any of this stuff. But I am a historian, so I want to know a little bit about the history of this guy who I never heard of. So I looked online, and it was very easy to find Alfred Salvector. For those of you who are German, you can help me out and just tell me if I'm pronouncing that right. It sometimes is hard for me to pronounce it correctly in German, especially since the vector has the umlaut over it. So he started his service in April of 1915 during World War I. He was assigned to the flagship of the High Seas Fleet. But then in February, so again, that's surface warfare, 1915. And then in 1916, he requested to be transferred to the U-boat service. After graduating from submarine school, he commanded 3 U-boats, U-25, U-40, and U-94. From September of 1916 until the end of the war, he finished his service in March of 1918. He was awarded for his success in command with the Iron Cross, and that was, we saw that on the uniform. Between the wars, he had a series series of administrative jobs. On March 1st of 1935, he was promoted to Vice Admiral. Now, keep in mind, this uniform, the date was March 5th of 1935. So he was promoted on April 1st, and then that was Vice Admiral, and then he was promoted to Admiral in June of 1937. It was in 1937 that he was the commanding admiral of the North Station, North Sea, in Wilhelmshaven. That's one of the largest naval bases in Germany. It's up in the northern part of Germany into the North Sea. So as commander of that base, it was actually one of the highest positions in the German Navy, the Kriegsmarine, and he served there until October of 1938. Of course, we know in 1939, the war started. They contacted him again because they wanted him to help out, especially with U-boat command. So his service in World War II, starting in September of 1939, he was responsible for operations in the North Sea. And then in January of 1940, Solvector was promoted to General Admiral. Now that position, I just know of Admiral. He was promoted from Admiral to General Admiral, and I'm sure some of you can comment. I'm not sure what that means, other than he got another promotion. He was in command of the invasion, well, he was in command of the naval operations during the invasion of Norway. He was recognized with a King's Cross and Iron Cross in May of 1940. And beginning in the summer of 1940, he was in command of all surface operations in the North Atlantic and the English Channel. Then, of course, the Battle of Britain started, and the Battle of Britain was mostly the Luftwaffe trying to soften up England, getting ready for the invasion. And he was directed to set up E-boat, what they call E-boat forces, which are what we have PT boats. They're fast boats, electronic fast boats. And they were torpedo boats. So he was basically harassing the British shipping with these fast boats, and he was in charge of that command. And again, it was working in support with the Luftwaffe to get England ready for the invasion. In late 1942, he resigned from active duty. He had actually somebody who took over his position, and he resigned or retired. So that was November, so the end of 1942. And about that time, of course, the war was turning against Germany. Now, I found this one of the most interesting parts. Solvector was in prison then, at the end of the war, imprisoned by the Soviet Union in June of 1945. Remember, the war ended in May, but the Russians were rounding up what they considered to be war criminals. And for some reason, they rounded up Solvector. He was convicted by a Soviet military tribunal for war crimes. And on October 17th, he was executed by firing squad in Moscow. Now, here's an interesting twist of events. In 1994, after the fall of the Iron Curtain, that's when the Soviet Union broke apart. They tore down the wall. East and West Germany were reunited. After all of that, Solvector was formally exonerated by a Russian court. A little bit too late because he had been executed in 1945. So this gentleman, who I had no idea he even existed, we have his uniform. He has a story to tell, and I'm sure there's a lot more in there that is yet to be discovered. Most importantly, more evidence that did he actually wear this jacket or didn't he? It's just a really unique piece of history, and I hope whoever this goes to will really enjoy tracking down some more history. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I care more about the history of this than the uniform itself or the minutia of each medal. And as I said before, it's an interesting relic that really belongs in a museum or in your man cave. Hey, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel if you like content like this. Actually, content like this we almost never see, and I don't know if I'll ever see anything like it again. But we do have a lot of historical relics from World War II, and if you're a collector like me, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to this channel.